Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Talk Anime to Me podcast. We are your hosts,
Immunity Zero,
Siren,
and I am Marc Selby. Thank you for joining us once again on the Speaking of Anime channel. Today's episode, we're talking about the anime Paranoia Agent. Before we go any further, I must warn you there will be spoilers. If you have any desire to watch this anime, please stop and do so now. Then come back and compare notes with us. Yeah. Hi guys.
yo.
hey Mark, hey Siren.
Paranoia Agent. So,
Mm-hmm.
this was a trip.
Where to begin with this one?
That's the word for it.
sure.
Yeah.
Trip.
A
That's how I've been
psychedelic
describing
trip.
it to anybody. I'm like, yeah, we watched Paranoia Agent. Oh, how was that? Trippy as all hell.
Yeah.
Just want to be like, have you ever seen Paprika?
Mm-hmm.
So, same director.
Be like, so
There you go.
when's the last time we dropped acid? You know.
Yeah, right. You know, I think the time that I dropped acid like 5 years ago was definitely not as trippy as this entire anime. I'm honestly not even kidding.
I
Don't do
can
drugs.
say I've never done acid, but I have done salvia, and salvia was close.
That tends to be a
So-
common theme with a lot of these animes. It's like,
I know. So, Paranoia Agent. This show is about a string of attacks by what the media refers to as Little Slugger, who's like the antagonist, kind of.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
I think that's safe to say.
I mean, the show has multiple storylines that connect with each other as a police chief and his partner investigate the attacks and tries to piece it all together. And the entire thing's a trip. The entire thing's just a fucking trip.
It starts off like,
It
it's
starts off
going to be
pretty
kind of
mellow.
weird. Yeah, it starts off like you're like, oh, this is probably going to be, because like 4 episodes in, because I know I was talking to you guys in the chat. I'm like, I've already figured out the theme for this. Like episode 5, I'm feeling really confident that I know, where it's going. And then episode 7 happens.
Uh-huh.
And you're like, okay. And then after that, it just kind of fucking goes downhill. Not downhill in a bad way, but like in a way in which you get very confused and you're not sure when it's going to come out of it, and it never really comes out of that very confusing state.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It goes down here real fast on those gold rollerblades. So
Yeah.
it just takes you down this path where you're thinking, where is this going to end up? What is happening?
Waiting for that really like crazy explanation, and you sort of get one, but
Kind of?
yeah, exactly. It's like kind of an explanation, and I read so many people's theories online, and like
Very
almost
open.
no one agreed on anything, which
Yeah.
was crazy. It was all these like really different theories. So I started watching it over, and I'm trying to like say, oh, is this person's theory correct, or maybe this one has more merit than the other one, and I'm only back like through episode 2, so I haven't gotten too far, but
Well, it definitely takes another watch for you to figure everything out, and even then you're like,
Yeah.
I still don't know.
yeah, because at the end, how do you say his name? Maniwa?
Yeah, Maniwa.
Maniwa,
Yeah, when he becomes the old guy and like sort of takes his place, and he basically says, watch it over again.
Yeah,
And you're like,
but
oh,
Fuck, right?
okay,
Fuck.
what the fuck?
there's a part of me
Yeah,
that thinks, I mean, was he always the old guy, or do we just see the old him when he's given all these prophetic visions, or maybe just looking too far into that?
So there were a couple of things that I heard from people online, and some people thought it was him the whole time. And, I heard these other theories, but this one that really stuck with me was this one person said that he's just like the next... people think that he, like the old guy, was the paranoia agent, and that Maniwa is just the next one. And like basically what happened to him happened to the old guy a long time ago. And some people had the theory that the old man went through some kind of crazy trauma, like back in like World War I or II or whatever. I think they said 2. And someone also referenced that the fact that I think it was the last episode, when Ikari comes out of that crazy like 2D world that he was living in
Yeah.
for that short period of time, and he sees everything and he goes, wow, it's just like after the war.
Exactly.
Someone was like, that might have a lot more meaning to it than people initially are giving it. So they think that maybe this old guy went through some crazy thing during the war, and that was related to the last time something like this happened. So, like, it's like a cycle of people just kind of blowing off their responsibilities and kind of just shoving aside important things and putting blame on something else. Like how at the end they have that kitten thing. That's supposed to be like the next... What's that stupid thing's name? Moromi.
Yeah, Moroni.
It's supposed to be like the next Moromi. You know, that little kitten thing you see on the screen? And it's just like the cycle repeating itself. So I think that he's just the next person. I don't personally think that he was the old guy the whole time. I think he's just the next one. Because he gets so into the possibility of something and gets wrapped up in a lie. Because one person's small lie becomes this huge public thing that everyone can just go, oh, that happened to me too. Yep, that was me. That also happened to me, so I can use that as an excuse now.
And it's such a mirror to the world then, because I know this anime was 2004, but it's such a mirror to, you could put that right now and it'd be even far more massive because of Twitter and Facebook and other things, and everyone wants to be so involved with anything that's popular or anything that's like, okay, these people are getting attention now, so I'm going to make up a story and be like, yeah, that happened to me too.
Exactly. Like if you go into some of the horror story comment sections, if you go on any popular horror narrator who talks about vampire or werewolf stories, you're going to get a lot of people that go, I hate it when people pretend to be a vampire because I'm a vampire. And you're like, oh my God. I'm not even making that up. It's very true.
Oh, no, yeah.
I read all these people like, yeah, I'm a werewolf and my mom is a vampire and my sister is gypsy. I'm like, stop watching Hemlock Grove.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's such like the scene phase of any teenager, it's like...
Yeah, and
I'm edgy.
Exactly. And you know what? When I was 13, I was edgy too, and I definitely had friends that were like, I'm hunting demons in the woods right now. And I'm like, whoa, that's so crazy and admirable, Like everyone goes through that. And it's kind of like, everyone kind of goes through those phases in life and at different ages, different things. But I think this kind of covers the whole human race in a sense that people usually go through something like this in like a mob mentality all at once, and then they go, oh, well, we can't believe everything we hear,
Yeah.
And then it tones down for a while, and then it happens again.
Right. It always creates this sense of hysteria, and and it's all from one person's. She had to make up something to. And we'll get to who that is, I'm sure, later on. But she had to make up the whole thing because she was irresponsible, which, again, is another mirror to, like, growing up. It's like, you have to be responsible, and if you're not, you just look for something or someone to blame.
Yeah, and it shows the huge difference between lying about something like that as a kid as opposed to lying about it as an adult, especially, kind of like a public figure.
So... I would say this is a good time to ask how everyone felt going into this anime and how they felt after it finished.
Yeah, sorry about that. We kind of just jumped in right away.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard not to. It's really hard
good.
not
Yeah,
to.
no, it's fine.
Well, I could tell you going in.
I think we know how we felt after, but how we feel about going into it.
Yeah, right.
Stick to the script.
Yeah.
Going into it, I just had the feeling that I had seen a couple episodes, and that's why I recommended it, because I thought it was one thing, and then it turned out to be something completely different. So going into it, it's like, I'm hoping for something a little edgy, something a little supernatural, and I guess we got that. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I went into it going, all right, I've heard a lot about this. I've heard good things. I've heard bad things. I don't know how I feel. And then I watched like the first episode and I was like, I don't know how I feel about this anime. It's kind of trippy, but I don't know. And I watched the second episode, and I was like, I don't know. And then by about episode 5, I was like, what the fuck's going on? I don't know, but I am hooked.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Once you get into it, not even into it, but once you get dragged into it, you're like, okay, I've
Seriously,
got to keep watching.
Episode 5.
How about you, Siren?
I started it, and I watched the first episode, and I'm like, okay, yeah, all right. This looks like it'll probably be good, you know. I'm digging this animation. I couldn't pinpoint, why I thought it looked familiar at first. Kind of glad I didn't find out until the end, because then I would have been like, this is going to be crazy. But I was like, okay. Then I watched the second episode, and I'm like, all right, yeah, okay. Then I saw the third episode, and I was like, whoa. This seems like it's going to be really crazy, something about like all these different mental issues, and it's going to all wrap up into one thing. And I really, I love that kind of stuff. Psychological thrillers are like my jam. So then I got to halfway through the whole season, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I'm not going to lie, there was like a couple episode period where I'm like, is this just going to be like stupid for the rest of it now? Like, is this going to be like fillers?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and there was like this one comment that I saw someone, and they were like, this anime went from 100 to 0 really fast. And I'm like, I wish I didn't feel that way, but I kind of do. And I kind of got turned off to it for a couple episodes, and then it became really trippy, and I was like, okay, so there's got to be a meaning to those episodes that I'm not figuring out right now. And then I got immediately really back into it. And now that it's over, I'm thinking about how I felt the whole way through, and I'm like, I gotta watch it again, because I feel like after seeing the whole thing, I'd like the things I didn't like about it initially.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Now, I want to touch on something here. It was only one episode, and it made sense to what everything was going on. But then again, it didn't really make any sense, and it was, to me, a standalone episode, kind of.
I think I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
The episode was the two guys and the little girl.
Yep.
And the
suicide episode.
Yeah, like, when did they die? Because, and I bring that up because when they were walking down and they were whistling, or they were singing something, and they walked past that group that was taking a picture. And then right when they walked past, they took the picture, and they were in the picture.
Right, and they freaked the fuck out. They're like, "What is that? What is that?"
So
I know
they never touched on that again. It's like, what did they see? What were they?
I read a couple of people's theories on that, and I think the one that makes the most sense to me was that when they were in the abandoned building in the beginning, and they were inhaling the carbon monoxide and took all the pills, the two guys died, and somewhere else the little girl killed herself, and then they kind of like met up, which is why she appeared so suddenly. And then the whole rest of the episode was just them not realizing they were dead, which is why when that guy jumps in front of the train, they see his spirit walk away, because everyone's like, oh my god, look at that mangled corpse, and he just gets up, and they're the only ones that see him walking away. And then at the end, yeah, exactly. I didn't think about it initially either. I'm like, oh, I'm like, how is he getting up and walking away? And then someone pointed that out. I'm like, oh, duh. And then when they're in the hot spring hotel, and they see Little Slugger, that's the only time he ever like really acknowledges anybody, like the actual Little Slugger. Like, he really acknowledges them and runs away from them, kind of freaked out, which to me says, since he is, a figment of everyone's imagination, it would make sense that they could actually see him and that he would be able to see them. And if you notice, the two women that are standing near the stairs and just kind of like don't really do anything when they run by, it's because they heard something, but they didn't see anything.
Oh.
Yeah. See, now you're thinking about it, you're like, oh yeah, because that's exactly how I feel. Yeah.
Kind of makes more sense now, because when they were trying to hang themselves, and she's like, yay, this is fun, and then
exactly.
They fall down, and then she's crying out that she doesn't want to be alone. And I don't know, that's just heartbreaking.
It is.
Yeah.
The part where I actually figured out that they died before I read all that was when they were obviously, like, when the old man comes to realization when he goes to say, oh, it's my last pill. Well, he already said that at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like that's also a reference to when he really passed. You know, obviously he sees that they don't have any shadows too, and he's like, oh crap.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I think I believe the idea that they were probably dead almost the entire time.
Is that to bring to our attention that Little Slugger was not human?
Maybe.
I think that what he isn't like, yeah, not human. But I personally think that he's kind of like Slender Man in the aspect that it's something that's made up, but everyone believed it so much, you know, to the point where it kind of became.
What is that called?
Yeah, I forget what it's called. Like, they talk about it in, like, some series, like Supernatural and stuff like that, too. They're like, you know, something isn't real. What?
A tulpa. He's a tulpa.
Yeah. Where people believe in something so much that it actually becomes real.
Yeah, it just manifests.
And I think that that's exactly what happened. Yeah.
Because the whole time I'm watching the thing, I'm trying to figure out, what the hell is he? Or, because...
Yeah, being a tulpa, that makes way more sense.
Yeah.
So is that why he doesn't kill the chief's wife?
I think that that's probably why, because she basically says, I don't believe in you.
Yeah.
And that kind of takes away his power, you know?
Yeah. That makes a lot more sense. But
I did not figure out most of this on my own. I definitely went online.
The series itself was enjoyable. There's no way that I wouldn't say not to watch it.
Oh, yeah.
But just
I definitely recommend it.
Watch it and then talk it out, because that's what the hell we're doing right now. We're like, okay, let's bounce ideas off each other. But I don't know. There's a lot of questions still in my head. Like, who was taking the picture of the one kid beating up the other kid in the second episode?
I was thinking the same thing. I just watched that episode. I'm like, they never tell you who the fuck.
They never tell you.
Like, who did that?
Was that Moromi? You know?
Yeah, like, who that? Now that you say that, yeah, I completely forgot about that. Well, yes, I know. But so many things that I really wish.
It could have been the fake. That's all I'm gonna say. Fake. It could have been the fake when he was stalking him.
Oh, you're right. What the heck's his name? The dumb kid who thinks. Yeah, I'm trying to remember it too. The kid that pretends to be Little Slugger. I can't find it. I think one of the things that I liked about this so much was the fact that when I was on these message boards and I was looking at everything, people had started this thread in like 2005, and then a ton of people responded, and then like 10 years later in 2015, more people were responding. I'm like, wow, this is really getting people.
That's the anime that brings people together, right?
It really is. It's just, it's so crazy that 10 years later people are still like, this is my theory, you know, and they're still that into it. Why can't I find this anime?
So I have a question.
I know his name was Fox on the message boards because he was one of the people that was supposed to be in the Suicide Pact. I don't remember his actual name. Oh well.
What is your question, Mark?
What's your guys' favorite characters?
You want to field this one first, Siren?
I really liked Harumi Chono a lot. She was... I know she wasn't, like, a huge part of the series. I mean, she was one of the main characters, but I thought that her whole storyline and the struggle that she went through, to me, that really stuck out for me.
Yeah.
And I think, and I at first it actually confused me. I didn't know who it was until, you know, she kind of took everything off. I'm like, wait a second, that's the tutor. And, you know, even if somebody doesn't have like dissociative identity disorder, you know, the thought of having to live two lives, you know, really just kind of, I don't know,
three,
hit home
really.
for me. Yeah, three, really, yeah, because they talk about Maria and they talk about Harumi, but then there's that third girl, and I could never figure out if that was... Oh, did they give her a name?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I missed that part. Okay, so 3 then. But I really loved that. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. And I think that the scene where she goes nuts before she gets attacked by the little slugger.
Oh yeah.
Was just the best mental breakdown scene in the whole series. But I don't know. I really liked her. I liked how different all of her personalities were. I liked the crazy struggle she went through. I liked her breakdown scene. I liked everything about her.
How about you, Immunity?
Well, as soon as you said that, I mean, I already had it written down. I was like, she's definitely my favorite character. But I also appreciate the childlike nature of the detective, Maniwa.
Oh, yeah.
He always stayed, like, he was easy to identify with because he wanted to figure out what was going on, but that at the same time he got lost with that one kid that was pretending to be, we could just call him the Holy Warrior, because
yeah,
I mean, just to see his transition over the period of the 13 episodes, it's like he starts off and he's trying to be the serious detective with his chief, but halfway through he turns into like a kid trying to solve a crime, and then at the end, he is the old man. Yeah. So, how about you, Mark?
Mine was the chief.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was awesome. He was like he didn't really have a whole, like he was a main part of the show, but he didn't really do a whole lot. But it was like everyone around him who really told you all about him. How good of a guy he really was. He was a hard worker. He cared for his family, even though his wife couldn't have children. He didn't care. He was happy to be with her and providing with her, and just a really good guy, really. He just wanted to make the world better, kind of, in little ways here and there.
I actually read an interesting theory on specifically him and Tsukiko. And this one person, and I kind of sort of debunked it by watching the first few episodes and noticing that she did in fact have a shadow. But one person had this theory that the whole time Tsukiko is dead, and that she experiences the whole series through different universes, so like the multiverse theory, and that's why everything gets so kind of crazy and it jumps from one thing to another. And at one point they say that she is the child that dies inside of the detective's wife, so that kind of explains in a way why he thinks that she's his daughter at the end and why she thinks he's her dad. And I was like, that's a kind of interesting theory. So that was one of the reasons I really wanted to watch it through again, because I thought the multiverse theory really kind of made a bit of sense, but at the same time, there are some things that didn't make sense. But I thought it was interesting that maybe she could possibly be his kid in some other kind of universe.
I could see that happening, but then again, that kind of goes away with I think the 12th or 11th episode where he breaks out of that 2D world, and you see more of her character development, even from when she was young to when she grew up and she became this artist and yada yada. But I don't know, I had the same kind of feeling, like, is she his daughter, or was she just like a kid in the neighborhood? Or, there's so many questions. It's like watching the X-Files. It's like you're often left with more questions than answers.
I like how when he broke out of his own little world, he was like, I'm surrounded by idiots.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So then I guess we move on to least favorite characters. I'm assuming we all have a couple.
I do have a couple, but I got one in particular, but I'll you can go ahead and share with us, Siren.
I was just going to say the exact same thing. There's a couple of characters that I wasn't a huge fan of, but really specifically, I hated Hirokawa, the police guy.
Oh, with the daughter?
Spies on his daughter.
Oh my god. And then, that's the same guy that goes to...
the weird daddy fetish.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of... When they started her story out, and the way she talked on the phone with who I already assumed was her father, I kind of figured that was something that happened, and I'm like, oh, I bet I know it's going to be him. I bet it's going to be him. And then, of course, it was, and I was just that moment when she goes on the computer and she sees those. That was the moment I officially decided I hated him the most.
Yeah.
Because I can't even imagine how she must have been feeling. It made me want to cry so bad. But yeah, definitely him. Hate him a lot.
Yep. Yeah, he's actually one of the characters I didn't like the most. He's probably the one that I hated the most, but the one that, again, I'm going to go with something that might be, why does he choose this one, but Tsukiko. There was something about her.
Does she irk you?
She bothers you, yeah. She bothers me too.
Yeah, me too.
To me, she was the reason why this entire thing happened.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then she just wouldn't speak. I mean, I guess she's a shy character, but, there's some kind of development that's happening here, and it's always getting stonewalled. It's like she doesn't want to say what happens. I mean, clearly you find out at the end what's going on, but the entire show, it's like the last episode we did with Shimonetta. Just one of those main characters that kind of grates on your nerves. So,
yeah.
I don't know, but definitely the detective's an asshole.
Yeah, screw that guy.
Yeah. Mine was the little kid from the second episode. I don't remember his name.
Who,
The
Ichi?
fucking little... Yeah.
Oh, the Rosie?
That kid pissed me the fuck off.
Oh my god, he's in the mirror smiling at himself.
Oh, I know. And then,
Ching.
that one kid from the country who's just trying to be really nice to him because he's been bullied and now Ichi's been being bullied. And he's just trying to be nice to him and he's like, this motherfucker! And I'm just like, you need to get fucking punched.
I'm nothing like you, fat pig. I'm like,
Yeah.
You're so terrible.
Right?
Oh
I was
God.
like, oh god, I hate you so much. There's no redeeming qualities about you whatsoever.
Yep, there's no part of me that makes me want something good to happen to you at the
Yeah.
end of those.
Yeah, when he finally got attacked, I was like, oh, he survived.
Now you feel bad.
No, I didn't feel
Oh,
bad for
you
him. I wanted him to die.
No.
Come back and finish the job, damn it. Jeez. Yeah, I can see why he's like the embodiment of just...
Douchery.
Douchery.
Yep. It's a good word for it.
Yes. We could change his name. There we go. Ichi Douchery.
Douchey.
Douche Lord Supreme.
Douchey.
Lord Supreme.
Jesus.
Is there anything anyone would change about the show? Like any problems you had with it?
I would probably change... I don't know. I want more story, but as far as changing it, I think some episodes you didn't need to have.
Yeah.
But I think the episode where we're talking about where the suicides were happening, I think that one was important. But it probably could have been maybe 10 episodes. But it was a hell of a trip. But I don't think I'd change much.
I have to agree.
The episode with the guy, the whole troupe that's making the Marumi anime.
Oh yeah.
That was
Fucking
funny.
hated that episode.
I kind of did too. I'm like, I don't need to know everything that happens in the making of a freaking anime.
Yeah.
I kind of know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know everything, obviously, but my sister's in the film industry. I kind of personally know a lot of this stuff already.
The cinematographer,
Yeah.
the director.
Oh, is that what the producer does? Oh.
I did like how they were all getting attacked though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that at the end of the episode, it kind of explained why they went into such detail. I mean, I don't understand why they talked about each role so in depth with Marumi explaining it, but at the end of the episode, I was like, okay, this episode kind of makes sense because it really shows you someone just losing their shit and then completely blaming it on, this fake entity, basically, at the end of it, which is why I think he's being chased by Little Slugger in his car that whole time as he's having all those flashbacks while he's driving.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, like these filler episodes, they have a purpose, but they just, as you're watching it, they just kind of feel so out of place that it almost makes you not want to continue watching.
Yeah. I think that one episode where they're telling you what everyone does to make an anime come together or something, or make a cartoon come together. The more I think about that episode, it's like, you didn't need to have it, but it did play a vital role because it gave you the mindset of someone like Tsukiki. To where...
Yeah.
Or, sorry, Tsukiko. But because she wanted to design stuff like that, or maybe she wanted to create cartoons or animes or whatever you want to term it as. Yeah. But maybe this is her talking because it's from the perspective of Marome.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that.
So it's like, okay, this one does this one does that. And it sounds like it's from the perspective of a child. So, yeah. But at the same time, there's all this death and destruction happening.
Yeah.
Actually, that might, I also didn't like Marome.
I did not either.
Hated Marome.
I hated Marome from
I
the
appreciated the creepiness of Marome. Because, to be fair, it was very creepy.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But I just hated, its whole, its role. I didn't like its role. But, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's hard for me to say that I would change much about it, as much as there's certain aspects of it that I wasn't incredibly fond of.
Right.
Specifically because I know in an interview, Satoshi Kon, the guy who directed it, said something along the lines of that he did Paranoia Agent so he could kind of play with the idea of certain concepts in each episode, which is why they're all so different.
Right.
Because, he's done, Paprika, he's done Millennial Actress, he's done, Perfect Blue, and those are all really great movies. But this is I think it was the first series that he actually got a chance to do. And I think it was just all these different ideas that he wanted to play out and kind of just mess around with the things in his head. So I wouldn't want to change anything specifically because it's nice to see somebody, kind of just go all out with the creativity that they have. But as a series, I don't know, there's still those things that I don't know.
It was like his version of Black Mirror, but with one, defining character.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
It's a great way to put it, yeah.
But, not too much I would change. Just make it shorter.
Yeah.
And it's funny, if you search this on IMDb, it'll give you 2004 and then a dash, and then there's no end. So.
Oh, that's creepy. I like that. Creepy. I like that a lot, yeah.
It's like it's always ongoing. Just make sure you watch your back.
Ooh. That's creepy. I like that.
So, before we rate the show, is there anything else you guys want to touch on before we rate the show and pick our next anime?
No, I think I covered pretty much everything that I'd want to discuss. I mean, this conversation's ongoing, and I'm sure the three of us will continue this discussion outside of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel like we kind of hit a lot of points really quickly in this episode because we were so passionate about it.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever watched Twin Peaks?
Yes.
I didn't see the whole thing, but I did see a bit of it, yeah.
It had a very Twin Peaks vibe for me.
Definitely.
Yeah.
In certain points.
Mm-hmm.
Especially some of the hallucinations were very Twin Peaks inspired.
Yeah.
Which is good. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
But,
It's very good.
Actually, there's a couple anime I can name off the top of my head that have Twin Peaks. Like there's one anime in particular that has an entire scene that is basically from Twin Peaks. It's just
really?
kind of amazes me that that show has such a. I've seen it referenced in so many different mediums.
Which show? I think I might know what you're talking about.
What's that called? We were just talking about it. Soul Eater.
Soul Eater?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. Because I remember I saw oh my god. You passed the mouth on to me. I saw Soul Eater, and then I saw some Twin Peaks, and I thought, these kind of seem a little similar with this one scene.
Yeah.
This seems a little...
Yeah, which is still amazing that they canceled Twin Peaks back in the day, and now it's back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet.
What is that? Yeah.
I haven't seen the new one, so I don't know if it's a complete reboot or if it's a continuation.
It's a continuation.
Okay.
Oh, sweet.
That's not bad.
It's supposed to pick up, I think, right where it left off.
So I gotta catch up then.
Yeah, it'll mess with your mind, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I like mindfucks. I'm a big fan.
Yeah. Go watch Memento.
Clearly. Oh, yeah, I've seen that, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, how would you guys rate the show? 1 through 10.
You go ahead and take a siren.
I give it an 8 out of 10 because there were parts throughout, like I keep saying, there were parts throughout as I was watching it I didn't really like. And at the end I liked them. And maybe if I watched through it again, I'd probably maybe give it a 9 or a 10. But the first playthrough, I definitely really, really fantastic. Could potentially be one of my favorite animes if I figure out what the hell's going
on. For me, I'd probably do the same. 8 out of 10. I was hovering between 7 or 8. I appreciate the anime. I love the content. I'm always up there for a good psychological. I don't know if this would be a thriller. I was wanting more.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the point of the anime. Maybe it's supposed to leave you like, okay, what's real, what's not. So, but definitely an 8 out of 10.
Okay. I would personally rate the show 7 out of 10. It's really good. It had a slow build up for me, which I really have a hard time with in general. And then just some of the episodes are were hard to get into, and then just the open endedness of it. I was hoping for like a good, clear cut ending, and it was just like, it's always nice to be left with more questions than when you started, but I think I was left with so many questions that I'm just like a little frustrated by it.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
So
makes you go online and research a whole bunch of things.
That's true.
That's all you gotta do. And it's funny because the opening song, it's so annoying.
I hated it. I watched it once, and then I skipped it.
Yeah. Aww. It is so repetitive that it fits the show, because the whole time you're just being brainwashed, and that's what this thing is. That's what the music sounded like to me.
Yeah,
and people are being brainwashed with this Moromi character, and it's just like down the rabbit hole.
That's a good point.
So, but then the end, like the end credits, they're either all sleeping or they're all dead. So
something. All right. So then I guess it comes down to what are we gonna watch next? And now that we've all had a turn picking.
Yeah, I know we got a lot of suggestions from different people.
No, and we have some suggestions, so I'm going to go ahead and choose one of those suggestions, and that's going to be from Dylan Shepard, D.A. Shepard, on Twitter, who suggested My Hero Academia.
We need like the Jeopardy music playing right now.
12 episodes long, 12.5.
Unless Marc's mic went out.
What's that?
Maybe he's just intensely thinking. And I'm going to choose one. Mike go. I think his mic did go out.
It's like, no, you're not.
My mic went out? Can you hear me?
There we go.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay,
now.
that's funny because I was like talking and then there was nothing.
It was really great anticipated. It was good build-up. It was great.
Just waiting.
The Twitter user D.A. Shepherd has suggested My Hero Academia.
Sounds like fun.
It's a hero anime, like superpowers, superhero anime.
Oh yeah, I started to watch the trailer for it. It's about a kid that wants superpowers, and I think a whole bunch of other people do except for him.
Yeah, so basically 88% of Earth's population have quirks or powers, and there's a very small percentage of people who don't. And the main character is super into them, obsesses about them, but he himself did not get born with a quirk. And it
sounds like Millennial, the anime.
And it's his rise to becoming the greatest hero of all time.
It sounds really good. I'm kind of pretty pumped about this, actually.
Looking forward to that.
I hope I can record with you guys in the next podcast. If not, then you'll have D.A. Shepherd.
It is 12 episodes. So
Sweet.
we probably could get through it pretty fast. It's on Crunchyroll if you want to watch it. I love it. I already watched it, and I've had it in my back pocket for a pick, but because it's been suggested, I'm just slamming it down. Bow! It's got 2 seasons right now as well.
Oh, sweet.
So, yeah, we have the first one is either 12 episodes. I think it's 12 episodes, and then they have, like, a bonus, like 12.5 is, like, the bonus, like, catch-up before season 2.
Nice. Very nice.
Awesome. I can't wait. I'm really excited that we're doing this because it gives me an excuse to watch anime again. Yeah. Well, because before, it's like, oh, well, I gotta do work, I gotta go do this, I gotta do that, and you just don't really think about it. But now it's like, we'll have to watch it because we're doing this podcast, and it's kind of nice. I haven't been able to really keep up with watching anime in a while like this, so I'm thoroughly enjoying this.
Yeah, definitely. It's given me a reason to get back into watching them. So and then they're fun to watch, and there's so many out there.
I know
there are.
So many I don't know about. This is great.
Like, I recently got suggestions within the last 24 hours. So before that, really? I was like, what am I gonna choose? And I was literally going through every freaking anime on Crunchyroll, going, is that interesting? I don't really care about that one. Next. Oh. So I'm glad we got some suggestions.
Yeah, some pretty good ones too.
So yeah, My Hero Academia. We'll be discussing that on the next episode of the Talk Anime to Me podcast.
And I do believe, if I'm correct, we're going to have some very cute new visuals on the next...
Hopefully they'll be done by then, yes. They're almost done. I was going to say, no,
it's going to be this episode, I think, isn't it?
It'll be, well, if they're done in time, yeah.
So it'll either be this episode, and I'm talking stupid right now, or it's going to be the next episode.
There you go.
I'm really excited about it.
If it's done by this episode, then we can put up...
Oh, they are? Oh, sweet. Yeah. Yay!
Perfect. Can't wait for them.
Ooh. So I've been showing everyone here, their work in progress as they get here. Immediately, they gave me the ones with you with actual glasses on.
Nice.
With your character. And the glasses are broken. They're all cracked. Looks awesome. I was like, that's even better.
Hell yeah.
I love it.
I like it.
So, all right, well, this has been the Talk Anime to Me podcast on the Speaking of Anime Network. And I had a wonderful time. I hope you all had a wonderful time.
Oh, it was a blast.
Excellent. I was just about to ask you guys, and you already said it. Perfect. Haha. We're on the same wavelength.
We're just voices in your head, Mark.
Yes,
Yep.
yes. So, as always, if you like what you've heard and would like to continue hearing us, give us a like, a comment suggesting another anime, and maybe subscribe. And again, if you really didn't give a crap what we had to say and don't really care about anime, just leave a like and comment and subscribe. So,
Yes, I
once
agree.
again, Talk Anime Podcast. Had a blast.
Oh yeah.
Can't wait to see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.